Psalm 39. For the music director, Jeduthun, a psalm of David. I decided, I will watch what I say and make sure I do not sin with my tongue. I will put a muzzle over my mouth while in the presence of an evil person. I was stone silent. I held back the urge to speak. My frustration grew. My anxiety intensified. As I thought about it, I became impatient. Finally, I spoke these words. O Lord, help me to understand my mortality and the brevity of life. Let me realize how quickly my life will pass. Look, you make my days short-lived, and my lifespan is nothing from your perspective. Surely all people, even though seem secure, are nothing but vapor. Selah. Surely people go through life as mere ghosts. Surely they accumulate worthless wealth without knowing who will eventually haul it away. But now, O Lord, upon what I relying? You are my only hope. Deliver me from all my sins of rebellion. Do not make me an object of fools' insults. I am silent and cannot open my mouth because of what you have done. Please stop wounding me. You have almost beaten me to death. You severely discipline people for their sins. Like a moth, you slowly devour their strength. Surely people are a mere vapor. Selah. Hear my prayer, O Lord. Listen to my cry for help. Do not ignore my sobbing, for I am a resident foreigner with you, a temporary shelter, just as all my ancestors were. Turn your angry gaze away from me, so I can be happy before I pass away. So, for the music director, Jeduthun, a Psalm of David. I do not recognize the name Jeduthun, and they gave us no footnote. So let's go. Psalm 39. All right. So Jeduthun, praising. A Levite of the family of Merari and the chief of one of the three choirs of the temple, whose descendants also formed one of the perpetual temple choirs. His name is at the beginning of 3 psalms, either as a composer or the recipient of those psalms, but most likely as a leader of the choir by which those psalms were to be sung. Okay, interesting. But his name means praising. So, for the music director, praising, a Psalm of David. So some just say for the music director. Here it says which music director, which choir director, that kind of a thing. That's an interesting thought. Anyway, and also a Psalm of David could be a Psalm for David. It doesn't mean that it has to be a psalm that David himself wrote. It could be a psalm in the styling of David. That's actually a really vague title, or a vague, like, Hebrew allows for a lot more than of to be the translation here. For, to, from, all of those things. Okay. So anyway, we have that as the intro. I decided I will watch what I say and make sure I do not sin with my tongue. This sounds like a really good idea. I made this decision. I'm not going to say stupid things. I'm not going to shoot my mouth off. I'm not going to talk without thinking. I will put a muzzle over my mouth while in the presence of an evil person. So I'm going to watch my tongue. I'm not going to say anything in front of other people. The psalmist wanted to voice a lament to the Lord, but he hesitated to do so in the presence of evil people, for such words might be sinful if they gave the wicked an occasion to insult God. That is not what I'm getting out of that. The psalmist wants to voice in front of an evil person. No, I think it's he wants to confront the evil person, is my thought. Not he's worried about talking to God, because it doesn't say, I was going to praise you, God, but I couldn't because there was an evil person around and I didn't want them to throw stones at you. I don't get that at all. I decided I will watch what I say and make sure I do not sin with my tongue. Seems like a generic statement. Now he's getting more specific. I will put a muzzle on my mouth within the presence of an evil person. So not going to say stuff in front of, and also this could just be a bad person. Doesn't have to be evil. I was stone silent. I held back the urge to speak. My frustration grew. So he made the decision. He clarifies the specifics of it, and then he's put in the position of it. And he's holding back, and his frustration grows. My anxiety intensified. As I thought about it, I became impatient. Finally, I spoke these words. So I guess this is where they're going with he finally speaks the words. The words don't have to do with the other person, so it was a matter of saying it in front of the other person. I don't really get that. I think it's like, I don't want to. Anyway, Lord, help me understand my mortality. See, I don't think this is what he intended to say initially. I think this is what he says because of the circumstance. He becomes impatient in the circumstance of the situation, and he's like, as he thinks about it, it's, why are there such bad people around, and why do I have to endure them? So I think that is the basis of the thing he is going to God with. Oh, Lord, help me understand my mortality and the brevity of life. Like, why am I impatient? That's a part of what he's asking, I think. I became impatient. I had anxiety. I was stone silent. I grew frustrated. I held back my urge to speak. Clearly, he hasn't met Job. Let me realize how quickly my life will pass. So his prayer is to comprehend the fleetingness of life. Look, you make my days short-lived, and my lifespan is nothing from your perspective. I love the analogy here. Like, you've always been, you always will be. So my life absolutely is tiny compared to that. Surely all people, even those who seem secure, are nothing but vapor. So even people that seem secure, they're not going to last forever. You can't make it forever. You're bound by the same rules as everyone else. Vapor is something that you can't grasp. It's going to disappear. It's nothingness. It's going to vanish. That's the idea there with vapor. So surely people go through life as mere ghosts. Surely as an image, man walks around. The preposition prefix to image indicates identity. Here, people go through life. Man walks about. Walking is here used as a metaphor for living. Yeah, it's your way of life. The point is that human beings are here today and gone tomorrow. There's nothing lasting substance and are comparable to images or mere ghosts. Okay. So they're taking ghost out of the idea of an image. I guess that's okay. It conveys, I think, what the author probably intends. Surely they accumulate worthless wealth without knowing who will eventually haul it all away. So we're all going through the motions of accumulating lots and lots of flat caps, and nobody knows who's going to end up with them in the day of our death. Well, if we leave a good will, we might. If we pass them out before we die, we could. But anyway, his point is, like, as he's sitting there in silence before an evil person, he is evaluating the things of life and why this person is this way, and he is experiencing another thing, and how life is fleeting. But now, O Lord, upon what am I relying? You are my only hope. So in all of this, only hope in God is what he can rely on. Deliver me from all my sins and rebellions. Do not make me the objects of fools' insults. I am silent and cannot open my mouth because of what you have done. So he, though he's impatient, is remaining silent because of what God has done. So God is the one who acts, who has acted. Stop wounding me. You have almost beaten me to death. So it sounds like the beginning of I did not want to cry out in their presence might have been because punishment was what was upon him, and he's trying to stay quiet, and he doesn't want to play the fool. It could be, going back to the idea that they were saying at the beginning, if, in fact, it is punishment where he's remaining his tongue and holding his tongue, it is about the discipline coming upon him, and then he did not want to speak anything in front of others. That could make some sense if we're tying this back piece back to the beginning there. All right. So I am silent and cannot open my mouth because of what you have done. So God has acted. He is remaining silent. We started out with, I will remain silent. I don't want to sin. So if the whole scenario was, in fact, judgment or punishment or testing, whatever it was, he was trying to remain silent and be patient, knowing that it would be fleeting, didn't want to do things in front of others. I could see that. And here he has been contemplating all of it, and he is now praying to God, stop wounding me. You have almost beaten me to death. You severely discipline people for their sins. Like a moth, you slowly devour their strength. Surely people are mere vapor. So we had the first section. He comes to the conclusion that people are fleeting and vapor. The second one, again, he comes to the conclusion they are vapor. Life is fleeting. It passes away. We're nothing compared to you. We get to his actual prayer. Hear my prayer, O Lord. Listen to my cry for help. Do not ignore my sobbing, for I am a resident foreigner with you, a temporary shelter, just as all my ancestors were. Turn your angry gaze away from me so I can be happy before I pass away. So, whatever situation, whatever circumstance this is in, they have done wrong. They have been in the wrong. They are repenting of wrong. They are holding their tongue. They are waiting to have joy and happiness before life ends. This doesn't seem like a really happy psalm, but some of us are probably in situations at times where life is not really happy, and we would just like it to get some relief from the constant pain and struggle and suffering that's going on. Like, can I just get a day without? Can I just get a little bit of relief from this? And so this is one of those things where, like, if you don't know what to pray, you're going to find a psalm that probably expresses the fullness of your emotion. There's plenty of them, plenty to pick from.